Hi, and welcome to the Stellar Tech Talk channel. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to go to the moon? Maybe even live there? Humanity has always looked up at the moon and dreamed of walking on its surface. But now, we're not just dreaming. We're preparing to go and live there. A moon base is no longer just science fiction, it's becoming a reality. But how will we build it? What technologies will make it possible? And why should we even do it? Let's dive into the incredible future of our first outpost beyond Earth. Let's see what current technologies we possess that may further our quest for lunar exploration. To build a base on the moon, we first need a way to get there. Luckily, we already have powerful rockets capable of lunar travel. NASA's Space Launch System, or SLS, is a super heavy lift rocket that provides the foundation for human exploration beyond Earth orbit. With its unprecedented capabilities, SLS is the only rocket that can send NASA's Orion spacecraft, 4 astronauts, and large cargo directly to the moon on a single launch. On November 16, 2022, SLS took to the sky from Launch Complex 39B at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida, making history as the most powerful rocket NASA has ever launched. The successful Artemis I mission ushered in a new era of exploration, as NASA prepares to send astronauts to the moon as a prelude to human exploration of Mars. Post-flight data reviews determined that SLS met or exceeded performance expectations, and the rocket is ready to support a crewed flight on Artemis II and future crewed missions. SpaceX's Starship is a fully reusable spacecraft that will play a major role in NASA's Artemis program. It is a 2-stage fully reusable super heavy lift launch vehicle under development by the American aerospace company SpaceX. On the 20th of April 2023, with the first integrated flight test, Starship became the most massive and most powerful vehicle ever to fly. SpaceX has developed Starship with the intention of lowering launch costs using economies of scale, aiming to achieve this by reusing both rocket stages by catching them with the launch tower systems, Mechazilla, increasing payload mass to orbit, increasing launch frequency, mass manufacturing the rockets and adapting it to a wide range of space missions. Blue Origin's Blue Moon Lander, designed to deliver both cargo and crew to the moon's surface. Blue Moon Lander variants provide low-cost, recurring access to the moon for both cargo and crew. Its capability to provide precise and soft landings will enable a sustained human presence on the moon. Blue Moon Mk1 will provide cargo transport, leveraging the 7-meter fairing of the New Glenn launch vehicle, to deliver up to 3 metric tons anywhere on the lunar surface. To power these missions, we do require to have some advanced propulsion systems, though for now we mostly rely on chemical propulsion. Chemical propulsion basically refers to traditional rocket engines in which the thrust is provided by the product of a chemical reaction, usually by burning, or oxidizing, a fuel. Nuclear thermal propulsion is a future tech that could cut travel time significantly. Typically when the term, nuclear thermal propulsion, or NTP, is used, it is in reference to in-space propulsion systems that rely upon a low molecular weight, typically hydrogen, fuel that flows through a reactor to generate heat due to the nuclear fission processes and eventual thrust. A low molecular weight propellant is desirable because for a given chamber temperature, the lower the molecular weight, the higher the resulting ISP or specific impulse, a measure of rocket engine efficiency. To maintain hydrogen in the liquid state, the hydrogen fuel must be stored at temperatures well below the normal freezing point of water, and at those temperatures, they are considered cryogenic propellants. We are already using ion thrusters in deep space missions, though not for launches. An ion thruster, ion drive, or ion engine is a form of electric propulsion used for spacecraft propulsion. An ion thruster creates a cloud of positive ions from a neutral gas by ionizing it to extract some electrons from its atoms. The ions are then accelerated using electricity to create thrust. Ion thrusters are categorized as either electrostatic or electromagnetic. Electrostatic thruster ions are accelerated by the Coulomb force along the electric field direction. Temporarily stored electrons are re-injected by a neutralizer in the cloud of ions after it has passed through the electrostatic grid, so the gas becomes neutral again and can freely disperse in space without any further electrical interaction with the thruster. By contrast, electromagnetic thruster ions are accelerated by the Lorentz force to accelerate all species, free electrons as well as positive and negative ions, in the same direction whatever their electric charge, and are specifically referred to as plasma propulsion engines, where the electric field is not in the direction of the acceleration. From commercial satellites to small sats, from crewed space missions to deep space science exploration, electric propulsion is coming into its own. For experts in the field, it comes as no shock that electrically powered systems are the next generation choice for moving space exploration forward. Although chemical propellants remain necessary to escape Earth's gravity well, once craft are in or beyond orbit, electric propulsion is proving to be a promising way to go. However, getting to the moon is just the beginning. To explore and build, we will need advanced landers and rovers such as NASA's Artemis Human Landing System, SpaceX's modified Starship designed to land astronauts on the moon. The Viper rover is also being developed and tested. This one is a specialized robot that will search for water ice in the moon's soil. And from China's Chang'e program, we have to mention that we already had rovers landing such as Yutu-2, which was gathering data for future missions. So, how will we build the moon base? The moon's harsh environment means traditional construction won't work. Instead, scientists are working on innovative building methods. One such method would be 3D printed lunar regolith, basically using the moon's soil to create buildings layer by layer. What is regolith, you may ask? Well, regolith is a blanket of unconsolidated, loose, heterogeneous superficial deposits covering solid rock. It includes dust, broken rocks, and other related materials and is present on Earth, the Moon, Mars, some asteroids, and other terrestrial planets and moons. Some type of lunar concrete will be created by using a mix of regolith and special binding agents to create strong, durable structures. However, we should also take into account inflatable habitats, which are easily set up and can be moved with little effort. They will most likely be used as lightweight and expandable modules for living and working. But what will the base look like? So far there are two main ideas on how the moon base should be designed. The first one is a single expanding base, a central hub that grows over time with additional modules. The second one plays with the idea that there should be multiple specialized bases, small outposts designed for specific purposes, such as research, mining, or habitation. Whatever the option chosen, to survive on the moon, these bases will likely be partially buried under regolith to protect against radiation and micrometeorites, because small micrometeorites get vaporized instantly on impact with the regolith. To begin with, a fully operational moon base will need specialized facilities to support human life and scientific research. The first and most important ones will be the habitation modules. This is where the sleeping quarters, common areas, kitchens, and restrooms will be situated. Food will be grown by using hydroponics and aeroponics in specialized greenhouse modules. And a medical bay will be established for treating injuries and monitoring overall astronaut health. Then, there will be research labs, used for studying lunar geology, space medicine, and to test future Mars technologies. Mining and resource processing will be closely under their supervision. Specialized lunar harvesters will be extracting water ice for drinking and fuel. Remember when I was saying that the micrometeorites vaporize on impact with the regolith? Well, besides protection, this can also help us detect if there is water ice beneath the 3-inch regolith layer. Even though the impact pulverizes the micrometeorite, the shockwave that it propagates outward has enough energy to release water molecules from several feet deep and launch them into space. This is then detected by the instruments of the probes orbiting the moon. For all these facilities to be working properly, quite a lot of energy will be needed. Most likely, the energy production will be covered by a mixture of solar panels and nuclear reactors, which will generate the power needed for all the modules. Needless to say, a communication center is needed for ensuring constant contact with Earth and on the moon's surface. There are a lot of facilities listed, but who will actually maintain this base on the moon? A small team of astronauts will be needed to run the base, but automation will be used to reduce human workload wherever possible. Initial crews may include the mission commander, who oversees operations, a team of engineers who will maintain life support and power systems, the scientists who will conduct research and experiments, a medical officer who provides healthcare and monitors well-being, although all members will know first aid protocols, and a team of robotics specialists who will monitor probes, harvesters and all other automated systems. In the future, as we progress, AI and robotics could start to handle most tasks, reducing the need for humans to stay for extended periods at a time. But who will actually do all the building on the moon? Humans or robots? Well, robots will likely do most of the heavy lifting at first. Autonomous construction bots can 3D print habitats using lunar materials, and AI will help manage operations. But humans will still be needed for oversight, maintenance, and overall decision-making. You may ask yourself, why build a moon base? Why go through all this effort and expense? There are several compelling reasons. Let's see what a few of them are. First and foremost would be for scientific discovery. A moon base would provide an excellent platform for astronomy, free from Earth's atmosphere, similar to the James Webb Telescope. Studying the moon's surface helps us understand planetary evolution, including Earth and Mars. Establishing a lunar base is also crucial for testing space habitats because it prepares us for future Mars missions and beyond. The initial expenses may be high, but once we start manufacturing structures directly on the moon and extracting water ice for life support and rocket fuel, there will be reduced Earth launches. On top of that, helium-3 may be mined from the moon. Unlike Earth, which is protected by its magnetic field, the moon has been bombarded with large quantities of helium-3 by the solar wind. Unlike Earth, which is protected by its magnetic field, the moon has been bombarded with large quantities of helium-3 by the solar wind. It is thought that this isotope could provide safer nuclear energy in a fusion reactor, since it is not radioactive and would not produce dangerous waste products. I know that Elon Musk is planning on terraforming Mars and create a base there to preserve humanity. But in case of a disaster on Earth, the moon could serve as a backup for humanity just as well, and we can start with storing biological samples and seeds to preserve Earth's biodiversity. Who knows, maybe moving the internet on the moon could improve global communications. Maybe space tourism could become a reality soon. There are many unexplored possibilities, but one thing is certain. Such an endeavor would create engineering, robotics, and research jobs, and at the same time will push technology to further limits. Once operational, the base will also generate more, regular jobs, because it will rely on regular resupply missions, until it becomes self-sufficient. Water, air, and waste will need to be carefully managed and recycling systems regularly serviced. Radiation protection must be ensured. Habitats must be maintained or replaced in case they are damaged to prevent harmful space radiation. Of course, there are a few major challenges as well. As mentioned, there will be high initial costs. Launching materials and people to the moon is quite expensive, and it will take a little time before it starts paying off. But there may be unforeseen legal issues as well. Who owns the moon? Signed in 1967, and having 115 member countries as of 2024, the Outer Space Treaty forbids national claims, raising questions about resource rights. Key provisions of the Outer Space Treaty include prohibiting nuclear weapons in space, limiting the use of the moon and all other celestial bodies to peaceful purposes, establishing that space shall be freely explored and used by all nations, and precluding any country from claiming sovereignty over outer space or any celestial body. Although it forbids establishing military bases, testing weapons and conducting military maneuvers on celestial bodies, the treaty does not expressly ban all military activities in space, nor the establishment of military space forces or the placement of conventional weapons in space. We'll just have to see how these hold true once more nations start reaching space. Establishing a moon base is one of the most ambitious projects humanity has ever undertaken. While there are challenges, the benefits are enormous. With international cooperation, technological advancements, and bold vision, a permanent lunar settlement could be established within the next few decades. And who knows? One day, you might be able to visit, or even live there. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the future of lunar exploration, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more space tech content. Thanks for watching. See you next time.